No matter how bright the rays of any sun king, no man rules alone. A king can't build roads alone.
I just want to say I really like the concept where he's like, you think you can rule the throne, but the throne rules you. And I think that's why it was so important when our good friend Martin Luther King Jr. Says that the end. He says, "I'm not a communist because communists believe that the ends justify the means," and that's bullshit. The means create the ends,
Right.
and you always have to hold that in your mind. The way you climb to power is going to dictate how you maintain that power, and I think that's what people don't understand when they have these, when they call for these revolutions and all this stuff. Because we've been saying, and this video is very aptly timed because there's like all these crazy leftist types on Twitter right now who are calling for just because of Roe v. Wade being overturned, are calling for a violent revolution.
Yeah.
And it's totally batshit. Like, and I tweeted out, it's crazy. We remember Carlos Maza.
Oh, okay? I know. You saw his tweet. He's straight up advocating for violence.
Carlos Maza.
What a bitch.
Who famously, famously tried to get Crowder deplatformed from YouTube for calling him, I think, did he call him the F slur? Or did he just call him, no, he didn't even call him the F slur. He called him like a lispy queer or something. I forget.
He did make a t-shirt about figs, which I think was...
Oh, that's right. That's right. He had yes. So yeah, he's practically calling him the F slur. He's making fun of him being for gay and being annoying and effeminate, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Which I don't support any of that stuff either. But so Carlos Maza tried to get him to platform for that. And yet now he's turned around and he's directly, and not like, there's no subtlety here. There's no plausible deniability. He's directly calling for violence, saying, this is what he said. He said, "The suffragettes planted bombs, queer people threw bricks. Violence has always been necessary and important part of social justice."
Oh, that's such bullshit.
Then he had a second tweet where he said, "The whole point of democratic governance is to create an alternative to violence. When the government is no longer democratic, you're supposed to go back to plan A." Okay, so this is all just because of Roe v. Wade.
How is it not democratic still? One of the things that
I don't know.
I am heartened by the January 6th hearings because they really are giving details on how they investigated the election. And also, I'm surprised there's like all the stuff that we're going to watch today about Justice Department, how many of those witnesses are nonpartisan. They're basically saying, our institution is designed to stay out of politics. We're a neutral referee.
They're all like Republicans, mostly appointed by Trump himself.
Right.
So. And what was crazy too, because I think was it in this hearing or another one where they have the House rep leader from Arizona who's Republican, who was basically saying that Giuliani wanted them to overturn the vote and on no evidence, and calling it ridiculous. And he was saying that, basically Giuliani was asking him, and Trump was asking him to violate the oath of office, which he believes is a violation of God because he believes that the Constitution was inspired by God. And yet after all that, he still says he would vote for Trump again, which is interesting.
Wow.
There's so many weird intersections of people's politics and intuitions and loyalties that are kind of cross-acting here. But
you talk about the free will thing, because I really do think Trump to this day just does not believe, like, all these people in the January 6th hearing are telling him, they've investigated this stuff and found no evidence, but Trump doesn't believe that. He thinks they're lying to him.
Yeah, the one thing, I could be wrong, but the one thing I think that a lot of people in the January 6th, not the witnesses, but the people leading it, I think the one thing that they're really wrong about is they keep saying that Trump knew that he didn't win. And I don't believe that's true.
Yeah.
But then it's like, to me, it doesn't matter. It kind of reminds me of I don't know if you ever saw the episode of South Park where Cartman and Jimmy write a joke about fish sticks. And basically Cartman steals the joke, but he's so like egotistical and narcissistic that every time he tells the story, he just keeps remembering it differently. Like he wrote the joke and Jimmy did nothing. And Jimmy realizes that Cartman's not lying. He just, because of his personality disorder, he just perceives reality so fucking bizarre and incorrectly that he lies to himself with such ease that he convinces himself that like the lie is real.
That is a huge problem with human nature. It really is.
Yeah.
This is it's a Kobayashi Maru in Star Trek, where you're forced to deal with an unwinnable situation. And Trump is very much in that unwinnable situation.
Right.
And the way he deals with it is, I cannot condone. Good. I cannot condone one bit.
Oh, and then also Carlos Maza said his last tweet that I saw on this was he put a picture of, it says vote with a heart, and it has a Molotov cocktail. It says ballot, and then it has a picture of, I think, the Supreme Court, and it says box with an arrow, like throw the Molotov cocktail at the Supreme Court. And he says in Stardew Valley. So
these conflict entrepreneurs are the worst. This is straight up stochastic terrorism, because none of these people. This isn't even
stochastic. This is like direct.
None of these people would last. Well, I mean, it's stochastic terrorism in that they're trying to inspire somebody else to do the thing that they would never do themselves. Carlos Maza is like a trust fund kid. You think he's going to throw a Molotov cocktail and risk being thrown in jail for 2 years?
No,
of course not.
A trust fund kid who weighs 110 pounds soaking wet.
Yes. He's not going to be. He's not going to be out there risking being stabbed by some Proud Boy in the street. He's going to try to get you to go out there and do that, that's despicable. That's totally despicable.
Well, and it's the thing that's crazy with the Carlos Maza thing is that he hasn't been banned for any of this.
Of course not.
I mean, it makes Twitter look so horribly bullshit. Like they don't, obviously they don't really support anything. It's just entirely, I mean, and we kind of have been finding this out via the kind of interactions they've had with Elon Musk buying them, is that they're just so horribly partisan. And hopefully when Musk does buy them, that some of that will be solved.
We might listen to that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know if Elon Musk ran Twitter, I don't even know if Carlos Maza would be banned for that, because Elon Musk is so free speech, is basically like, as long as it doesn't violate the law, I want it on Twitter.
Well, I mean, it might violate the law though. He's advocating for violence. Yeah.
I guess I don't know if actually
direct advocation for violence, I think, is illegal.
Is it? Okay. I mean, I'm not in favor of that, but if at least, I guess, under Musk, even if that was allowed, it would be like, well, it would be allowed with both sides, I guess.
Jeez, why? Why? It's such a clear line. Do not advocate for violence. Listen, Twitter bans people for, if you're on the right, for direct advocation of violence. Like they were banning people for the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. This is a glorification of violence, and they ban you.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't see how they can, Carlos Maza gets a pass when he's clearly advocating for direct violence. It's total bullshit. We might listen to part of that. James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, recorded the call with Elon Musk talking to the Twitter.
I mean, they didn't record it.
Well, they got. I'm assuming they had somebody in the call recording.
Well, I'm assuming what happened was a Twitter employee recorded it and gave it to Project Veritas.
Okay, but
That's
anyway,
assuming
Project Veritas released it.
Yes.
I don't think anybody. Right. I don't think Twitter planned on releasing it. So I don't think Elon Musk planned on releasing it. But the call is pretty hilarious. We might listen to some of it because it's so obvious how woke they are at Twitter, that they're totally in the woke religion over there. So, and there's some funny back and forth between Elon Musk and whoever's running the meeting is super woke. So
I would like to see, I don't know if this would ever happen. It would be funny to see Elon Musk have like a direct Q&A with Twitter employees.
Yes. Well, there's some of that. There's some of that in that call because you get.
Well, no, the woman is like
people ask-
fielding. She like
She
obviously
fields
they had
questions, yeah.
questions beforehand,
Mhm.
and she's not really like pushing back on anything. She's just asking the questions. I kind of just want to see Elon Musk get into an argument with some woke Twitter employee publicly.
Bottom line is they don't want to work and they're worried about getting fired because obviously none of them work. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, yes, and they're very woke, and they know that Elon is obviously very anti woke, and they're concerned about that.